Hi guys, and welcome back to another very exciting video where I'm gonna walk you through my Diceathon TBR recommendations, and I'm also gonna be making my character that I'm gonna be playing. Okay, so first things first, what the hell is Diceathon? Diceathon is basically a Dungeons and Dragons inspired readathon that Paula over at Lacey Reads has thought up, which if you have been following me around in videos or like on live streams on sprints and stuff, you will know that D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, has basically taken over my life in the last couple of months. I have joined a D&D campaign that we are running with a whole bunch of other booktubers, and it's been so fun. It's been so fun. We've done about, I think, 3 or 4 sessions at this point, and a lot of weird, crazy, amazing things have already happened. So I'm kind of excited to see where else we're gonna go. But I was very lucky that Paula asked me to be a co-host during this Diceathon, along with, and this is the list of all the other co-hosts, they will be in the links in the description below, along with like the explanation of the announcement video of Paula's about Diceathon, other videos that the co-hosts have put up. Everything that you want to know, go to the description box below. So the other co-hosts are Hermie over at the Book Hermit, Beatrice from Beatrice's Book Nook, Livia from Livia and Books, Noah from the Bookworm, then we have Renee from Librarian of Alexandria. So if you aren't already following these people, please do. And I think by this point, most of them will have put out a Diceathon video. So do check those out because there's going to be more recommendations on there. Let's start with the first big chunk, which is going to be the recommendations / TBR section of this video. How Diceathon works is basically if you want to do damage to a certain person, creature, whatever we might discover along the way, you are gonna have to read books. Now, to make this a little bit more D&D-like, Paula has made a list of reading prompts. Now, every reading prompt is based on a number on your D20 dice. Now, I have a physical D20 because, as I told you guys, I'm in a D&D campaign. I'm not expecting every one of you to have a physical D20 dice. If you look it up, you can find ones online. You can buy your own, but you can obviously also, you can even use number generators. There's dice generators. You can use all of the things online to help you out. So Paula has made a list that every single number on your D20 correlates to a singular prompt that's going to help you choose which book that you're going to read. Now, sometimes you're going to like the prompt that is given you, and sometimes you might not. But luckily, Paula is nice to us, and we can actually read multiple books at the same time. Let's go through this list. Now, obviously, some of these prompts I can give you a recommendation, but other prompts are basically going to be based on what I want to read for this prompt. Feel free to steal it, but some of these are obviously going to be based on my previous reading. Now, obviously, number 1 is the number that you least want to roll, because it's basically known as a critical failure, which means anything that you try to do, you fail at. But you don't just fail, you fail spectacularly, which in this case, and in a lot of cases in D&D, means you also take damage. If this is all really confusing, please read the Diceathon manual that Paula has made. It makes it a lot clearer of how all of these things go. But it basically means that your character is going to take damage, is going to get hurt. But it also means that you're going to have to read an intimidating read. Now, obviously, what's intimidating to me might not be intimidating to you. But if you read through the manual, you will also see that the amount of damage that you are able to do to your foe, in whatever form they come in, is also kind of based on the amount of pages that you read. So I figured, why not, do one of these. This one could fit multiple prompts, but I decided to do it for this one. This is an intimidating read for multiple reasons. First of all, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. So that also means, in this case, a lot of damage, but also it's huge. And the other reason was I have tried to read this before, but I was so surprised at how political this was and how kind of dense it read. Obviously, I still really want to read it. It has dragons or wyverns. I actually don't know which one of the two it is. This is one of those books that you kind of have to make your way through slowly, I feel like. So this might be one of those prompts where if I roll it, I hope I roll it at the beginning of the month, so we can just make our way through as we go. So if you roll a 2, you have to read from a favorite author or an author that has not disappointed you. Obviously, this is one of those prompts where I can recommend you the book that I'm gonna read, but if you haven't read from this author before, I mean, this is basically just gonna be a TBR. But the book that I will be reading for this is Wolf Song by T.J. Klune. Now, if you have not read any of the T.J. Klunes, this will fit for you for number 3, which is read from an author that you haven't read from before. Now, if you haven't, this will come back later, but if you want to start with T.J. Klune, I highly recommend House in the Cerulean Sea. The wholesome vibes, the found family, the lovely, lovely LGBTQIA plus aspects of this. This has, while I was reading this, I was reading it on my Kobo, and I was reading it and I immediately knew I wanted a physical copy so that I could annotate it, so that I could just highlight it to high heavens, because the amount of like really spot on quotes that are in here is immaculate. Please, if you read any book that I recommend to you, if you come across any of the books that I mentioned today, and it's from an author that you haven't read from before, you can pick that one. But one that I want to read for this prompt, and I think is quite timely, is actually The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I saw that they are making this into a movie that is being released, I think in October, if I'm not mistaken. And the trailer for this looked insane. And it gave me all of the October creepy vibes. And I saw the trailer and I remembered that it was based on a book. Haven't read it. So I basically thought, you know what? This is going to be a perfect book to recommend to you all if you haven't obviously read this one, but this is going to be high on my TBR pile. Number 4 is to read a book from an indie author. Now for this, I have one recommendation and one that's on my TBR. So the recommendation that I have is to read A Court This Cruel and Lovely by Stacey Stark, or Stacey Stark. I've read this one, didn't hate it, didn't completely fall in love with it, but I remember that I actually really enjoyed reading this book, so I think I might either read or continue to read this book, or I'm gonna go with The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I chose this book basically on the cover and the fact that the title was intriguing, so I have no idea what this book is about. If you don't know, that's basically the way I want to go into books, by not knowing what they're actually about. So this will be a surprise, but it had really good reviews, so I'm hoping that this one is actually going to be really good. Now, number 5 is to read a book that matches your mood. As much as I would love to recommend a book to you based on every single mood that you could possibly go through in the month of October, I think we both know that this video would be like 3 hours long. What I would recommend that you do if you roll a 5 is to just ask in the Discord. Tell us what mood you're in. By that point, there's going to be a whole bunch of us in there, and we're going to give you all of the recs, and you can pick one that looks the most intriguing to you. Number 6 is read a book that has made it to a movie or a series. Now, for this, I kind of have a preference because I feel like books that have been made into a movie, it's hardly ever done well, sadly. I think it's because when they adapt a book into a movie, a lot of the things need to be cut out because of time. But sadly, a lot of the things that get cut out are like the really small, intimate, character-driven moments. And they sort of get lost, which means that all of the little things kind of fall to the wayside. What I also noticed is because if you read the book first and then you watch the movie, it kind of feels like the movie doesn't make sense, or it feels like discontinuous in a way, because you're missing a whole bunch of things that you know as a reader, but aren't actually in the movie. So for this, I'm gonna recommend you a book series that have been made into a TV series, which is the All Souls trilogy, which is a Discovery of Witches TV series. I love this book. I love these books. I love this author. If you are a fan of historical fantasy with a smidgen of romance, I feel like, yeah, there's romance in there, but it's not like in your face, you know? This one is definitely for you. I feel like while I was reading this, because I'm currently in the process of rereading the first book, I feel like an actual scholar while I read this book. It's got so many historical elements, and I already know that the second book is going to step it up. I remember reading the second book a little bit, but I think while I was reading the second book is when I made the transference to the TV series, and I kind of stopped reading the books. If you want the spooky, not really spooky, but if you want to have the, like, academia, October, witchy vibes, please read this book. Again, this is one of those recommendations that I'm going to be hammering on to you to get to this month. Now, number 7 is read a book you have been meaning to read but haven't. So basically a TBR veteran. Again, I can't really recommend you one because I don't know your TBRs. What I'm planning on reading for this one, and that is going to be Bunny by Mona Awad. I think, from what I remember, this will also be a perfect read for October, and I've heard a lot of great things about this book and this author, and I think there's a sequel coming. I might be wrong in that, but I think there's a sequel coming. Again, if you have like a TBR veterans and you don't really know which one to pick, make a poll in the Discord. Let us help you. We're there. Number 8 is to continue a series that you started. Again, I have no idea what series you're in the middle of. If you're like me, it's probably like in the 10s and 20s and 30s of series that you've started. Pick one. Pick one. Just pick one. For me, it's either going to be continuing the All Souls trilogy or The Faithful and the Fallen, because I've been reading that series for like weeks and months. It goes the same for number 9, which is finish a book that you've started. Again, if you're like me, you probably have quite a few books on the go. So this is a helpful one. Number 10 is listen to an audiobook. Now for this, I have a recommendation and one that I'm going to be getting to if I roll this, which the recommendation that I have is to listen to the graphic audiobooks of Crescent City. I have listened to the first 2 graphic audios and did the immersive reading thing, and I feel like it really did elevate my reading experience. A lot of like graphic audio can be a hit or miss, but I feel like the Crescent City books really did get it right. And I think that also goes alongside with the fact that the Crescent City books are just really good. I mean, again, they're found family, they're romantasy, which is a genre that I love. So if you want an audiobook rec, it's a long listen, but I don't think you're going to regret it. So listen to that. And the audiobook that I'm going to be getting to is going to be the graphic audio for ACOTAR. I have been wanting to reread ACOTAR for a while because I now started annotating my books, and I haven't annotated anything in ACOTAR in any of the books. So I feel like that's kind of what I want to do, but because I've read this series more than once, I don't feel like I need to read it again. I kind of want to listen to it on graphic audio. I have no idea if I'm going to enjoy it, but I am willing to try. Now, number 11 is read a book with a trope that you love. If you're anything like me and you like the enemies to lovers trope, there are so many books that I could recommend to you that have this, but I looked through the list a little bit and I actually have let's say three that I've read myself, and then one that I added to the list that I want to get to if I roll this one myself, which is the Book of Azrael, is the book by Amber V. Nicole, which is the book that I want to get to if I roll this. Now, I know that this is dark romance, I think, but the recommendations that I want to give to you for this one is to read The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Absolutely Insane by Carissa Broadbent. I love that one. Then you also have, if you're more into like the romance aspect of it, you should read the Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Amazing. If you're more into Emily Henry, then you can go with Book Lovers, or you can go with Beach Read. Another romance that I really like for this one is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. We're getting there. Number 12 is a book that has your favorite color on the cover. Again, can't really know what your favorite color is. Again, use the Discord, use Google, use whatever tools that you have at your disposal to figure this one out. My favorite color is green, if you couldn't tell. I like a lot of green, so I had to go and look for a book with a lot of green on the cover. And for that one, I picked a book that is also on my fall TBR, which is Wayward by Amelia Hart. If you've seen my fall recommendations or like my fall TBR, again, this could, to me personally, could also fit for like a TBR veteran because it's from a list that I made last year and I still haven't read it. So now 13 is to read a genre that you don't usually read. Now the genre that I don't usually read is like horror or thriller. I did read a few of those last year because I really wanted to get into the spooky mood. And one of those books that I read that I would highly recommend that you read if horror isn't really a genre that you listen to or read would be We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. Even listening to the audiobook, which could be another recommendation for the audiobook, this is so creepy, and also the circumstances in which I read this book, like at night with all of a sudden flickering lights in my apartment, it was just all of the vibes. Obviously, I'm hoping that you do not have to go through the same experience as me, but I really do recommend reading and very much listening to this audiobook. Now, the book I'm going to be personally reading for this one is going to be The Eyes Are the Best Part. Again, this could work for a TBR veteran because this was also on my list last year. But I think the cover speaks for itself. I think, and the title, I think you can say that this fits October. Now for number 14, there's a book that has a title or a cover that you love. Now, again, I can't really tell what you love. I can't really give you any recommendations. Personally, what I'm going to be reading is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. It's on my fall list to read, but the covers of these books are just so dang pretty. I think they also, they fit the TBR, they fit the fall vibes, they fit all of the things. It's my season, it's just yes. The number 15 is get a recommendation from a friend. Now, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I would say that people that watch my videos are my friends. So, read this book. Read it. Read it. Number 16. Read a book where the author's name starts with the first letter of your name. I'm not going to go through the whole alphabet to help you guys out. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. But to me personally, one of the main authors that I'm going to be picking from, or their catalog that I'm going to be picking from, is Ali Hazelwood. It just fits, and I think the one I'm going to be reading, if I roll this, is going to be Bride, because again, it's on my fall reading list. It's even a TBR vet. It could fit for so many of these prompts. For number 17, now, a book with dragons. I think the easy one here would be read Fourth Wing. But at this point, I think most of the population has. So I think, and this is also the one that I would recommend, that has also actually been made into a movie, which could fit it, which I have already read and really loved, but want to get back to, is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I loved this movie when it came out. I had no idea it was books. Then I read this book. This book is entirely different from the series or from the movie. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy how he writes. I really enjoy the way that he goes about it. So this is going to be my recommendation, as well as my read that I'm going to be doing when I hit this. Because I've only read the first one and I've heard so many great things. Number 18 is read a book with disability or mental health representation. Now, for this, there's luckily more and more books out there that can fit into this category. Personally, I would recommend all of the Brown Sister books by Talia Hibbert. I think they're amazing. I think they have really great representation of both mental health and disabilities. So I would highly recommend you read any of these. But the book I'm personally going to be going to that I have actually also read and would recommend is Six of Crows. I still think that it's one of the greatest tragedies that these people did not get a TV show of their own. Again, it was made into a TV show, but I think the casting of the Six of Crows, of the Crows, was spot on. And I have read this series before, but I kind of want to reread it and do it again because it's just a comfort read at this point. And once I've reread the Shadow and Bone trilogy, now I'm up to here, and then I want to go and continue with King of Scars, which is, I think, the Prince King Nikolai story. So I want to get back into this world, and especially these characters. I love them all. There's no weak link. I love them all. 19 is another one that I won't be able to recommend you one because it's read the newest addition to your TBR. Even I don't have a book that I can tell you I'm going to be reading, because between now and the time that I'm going to be rolling for this, I might have added 10 more books to my TBR. So this will be up to the dice and up to the moment where I roll this number. Now we get to the fun part, which is number 20. Which is a natural 20, which means a pretty much automatic success and not just a little success. It's you did it the best way that you could. Everything, it's just magic. When you roll a nat 20, I can attest to this because I've rolled a nat 20. And it is a magical feeling. And in this little Diceathon realm, it means that you get to read any book that you goddamn want. Now, I do not know which one it's going to be at the time that I roll this. So again, I don't really have a book that I'm going to be reading for this one. It's just going to be what I'm in the mood for at the moment, which is actually amazing. It kind of, to me, fits like the number 5, which is based on your mood, but not really. Because if your mood is I'm tired and I'm exhausted, that might not necessarily be a fun book to read. But if you want to read a book, any book that you like, I hope you all roll a whole bunch of nat 20s this month, or like in the month of October. I hope we can all read, and that all our reads are going to be 4 or 5 stars, and we're going to be loving it, and we're going to be enjoying it, and we're going to be slaying these things that Paula is going to throw at us without effort. Okay, now to the portion of the video that's basically going to tell me what the hell I'm going to be starting off with. Because in the spirit of Diceathon and leaving everything up to a dice roll, I decided why not leave the character that I'm going to be playing up to a dice roll as well. I might come to regret this so hard. And then I'm going to be filling it out on my little cutie character sheet, which is also available. This could make or break this whole thing. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to be rolling is my race. There are 6 races that I can choose from, or that I can roll for, which is human, elf, a shifter, a gnome, a vampire, or a dwarf. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, a vampire kind of fits, and we're going to roll for it. We're just going to have to roll for it. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I rolled a human, which, not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed, but we can make it work, which means that I start with 15 health, which I think is actually the lowest. Hold on, let me watch. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. You start with 15 health, but have studied medicine, so you gain 1 health potion every monster fight. If you don't use it, you can carry it over to the following monster, and I have an armor score of 13. Okay, so the health thing is pretty good. So that could actually work. The next thing that I'm going to be rolling is my actual class. So we have a warrior, a performer, the divine class, natural elemental, a spellcaster, or an inventor. I don't really have a preference for this one, but let's see what we roll anyway. Okay, so I rolled a 6, which means that I'm going to be an inventor. A human inventor, which is you have the ability to edit prompts to suit you. Critical failure is the exception. I can edit prompts? I don't actually know what that means. I'm going to have to ask Paula what that means. Edit prompts. I don't think it means that I can switch them out, though. I don't think that that's going to be that. She's generous, but I don't think she's going to be that generous. Maybe it means you can tweak it a little bit. I'm going to have to ask Paula about this. Okay, so with your class come class abilities. Now, I have 5 that I can choose from. Obviously, I'm not going to choose. I'm going to roll for it. I'm actually going to use a D10 for this, and I'm just going to, like, from 5 up, it goes again. So we can re-roll a prompt. Every 3 levels completed gives you an added re-roll. Okay, but re-rolling a prompt seems like it would be kind of not great because I already can edit them. So I don't really need that one. So hopefully that we don't get that one. You may roll twice and choose your favorite one. That sounds exciting. Health concoction. You may consume a healing potion once a fight to heal for 3 health points. That could be good because I do not have very much health. So that could be good. An enchanted weapon, which is you enchant your weapon so you do 5% extra damage than the level states. Ooh. So basically, you can add like, ooh. That's exciting. And then 5 is a setting change. You may replace this prompt with any prompt from every class, but it must be changed for every encounter. Okay, so every single time I encounter a fiend or whatever, I can choose from any class ability I want, but it has to be a different one every single time. That could also be fun. I have no idea what the other class abilities are, so let's see. That's a 10. I actually rolled the last one. So I can pick whatever I want every single time we run into a monster. This is gonna get so confusing, but so fun. And now for the big one, which is roll for flaws. So this could really make or break a readathon, but let's see. So the first one is shaky hands. On your first to hit roll, every fight you must roll twice and choose the lowest number. So basically you roll a disadvantage. Obsession, once you start solving a puzzle or clue, you must finish it. Okay, so there's no going back to things. There's just, you're in it now and you're gonna do it, which means that if it looks like a clue or like a thing that is gonna take more time, I'm really gonna have to pick when to solve these things. Cause I don't know how long it's gonna take. Okay, third one is memory flaw. Once you have one or more abilities, you must roll a dice to choose a random ability you forget for that round. Oh my god. Okay. I only have the one at the moment, so this will only come into play when we get more than one ability. And then the fourth one is allergy. Choose a damage type: fire, lightning, acid, cold, piercing, poison, psychic. You're allergic to this type of damage, so add 1 damage to every successful hit roll against you. Ooh, that's actually really bad. Oh god. I'm so glad it wasn't a 4. Okay, so we got 2, which is the obsession one, which means if I get like a puzzle or anything, I have to actually finish it when it happens. Oh, which means I'm gonna have to be like time sensitive and stuff. Ugh, why couldn't I have gotten my time off in October? Because then I would have all the time in the world. Okay, so what do we have? We have a human inventor who can pick any freaking ability that they want when they encounter a monster, but when they start something, which kind of fits the inventor vibe, when they start a project, they need to finish it in one go. I mean, it kind of fits, doesn't it? So I think what I'm gonna do now is, now that I've finished this, first of all, I'm gonna finish this video, obviously. But then after that, I think I might just do like some little character art and see. Obviously I'm gonna be adding that to the October Bujo setup that I'm gonna be doing. So you will see all of that then. That's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you have some new recommendations to add to your TBR lists. And I hope you join us in this Diceathon. I think Paula put in so much work into this readathon. It looks like it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. So join us on the Discord, join us wherever you can, join us, subscribe to all of the co-hosts that are in the description down below, and let's go on this adventure and let's kill some things. If you've watched until the end of this video and you don't really know what to comment a dice, obviously, for this Diceathon. And I hope we get to welcome you on this little journey that we're going to embark on at the start of October. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.